Welcome, everybody. We are live on the YouTubes. I see some awesome people here in the chat. I see Lewis, I see Jason, I see Alicia. I saw Carrie there earlier. So glad to have you guys all here. Hopefully, the sound is working fine. It's a beautiful day out. It's 79 degrees, not very humid. There's a gentle breeze. Just one of those nice summer days. Not a cloud in the sky. Look how blue this sky looks. I just want to show you guys. Oh, how beautiful is that? There's some guitar music over there. Dude is rocking on the guitar. And I'm here to speak up for some animals. So, got my vegan hat on. Hopefully, Alicia's sound is good. Okay, so you guys might hear a little bit of a kind of groovy music in the background, but it's not very loud at all. So, I think we'll have a nice day of some outreach, and yeah, we'll see how long we go. I took a double dose of B12 today, and I've got my water all filled up. Just used the restroom, so all systems go. I don't have leaflets with me right now. That would be the only thing that I'm having trouble getting the sign out. There we go. Okay. So we've got the sign here. If you haven't liked the stream already, give it a tap here. Uh-oh, sound is crackling. Darn, cracking. Okay. I'm going to try to just hold the mic a little bit further away. I think this mic is just a little bit sensitive, and I think it clips if I hold it too close to my mouth. So I'm going to just try to see if I can make do that way. I do have a different mic that I'm. This doesn't get too much sun here. I do have a different mic that I plan on using soon if I can get it to work. There's a certain type of adapter, like it's called like ADP or something, analog, or I don't know, something like analog to digital, something like that. So I will maybe have like a better interview mic. I just have to see how that sounds. I've been having trouble setting that up. It's a mic I've had for a while, and it's a good mic. My sign is just taking all sorts of abuse. Okay. Yes, this is with my new phone, but yeah, my mic situation is just not the best right now until I get this other one. Alicia says, Haas, just FYI, there is the Molly stream in 15 minutes. We need to close her dog meat business. So if you see it dropping, that's why. Yeah, no problem. I'm just here advocating for animals, regardless of viewership. Sometimes I'm out here with like literally one or two people watching, so no worries. I'm all about helping to close the dog meat industry as well. You know, Donald Trump signed the Dog and Cat Meat Trade Act like a couple of years ago, which I think was pretty funny if you think about just like the fact that, I mean, in a sense, like the fact that dog and cat meat is not legal to trade, I see as a good thing, but like it just reeks of speciesism. You know, the fact that there's no law protecting chickens being killed at the rate of 2,000 per second in this country. So yeah, I'm all in favor of helping shut down some dog meat businesses. Yeah, I'm aware, Alicia. I actually I met her I believe at Vegan Dale like maybe 2 years ago at the Elwood stand, and I definitely support the work that Elwood is doing. I think the sound might be a little bit too loud here. I'm gonna see if maybe I'm gonna try actually moving a little bit further down toward a little more open of an area. Let's see if there's a little bit less sound there. I think we might have some better results here, and I think the backdrop is also a little bit nicer for you guys to enjoy. So bear with me here. We're going on a little field trip. Martin says, Haas, you now have 667. Yeah, I saw somebody unsubscribed to make it 665. So I was like, okay, at least we're in the clear a little bit, but it wasn't like full relief because I was like, next time somebody subscribes, we're going to be back in the same old predicament. But yeah, I think now we're in the clear. So unless somebody does something really evil and unsubscribes, we should be good. And to be honest, like this stream, I'm hoping kind of helps push us over. Um, Mel and Steve are here. They say the chat only works for subscribers. Not sure if you knew. Yes, I actually engaged that on purpose because I'm kind of doing this stream as a bit of a subscriber push because I was at 666, 666, and I'm just trying to get like clear past that. But if you're just tuning in, my name is Haas. I'm holding this sign that says, "Come participate in a social experiment." I'll be asking people the fruit fly hypothetical today. The fruit fly hypothetical is basically involving a person who um, farms fruit flies in their house by letting fruit rot, and then they clap and try to kill as many as they can. I'm going to ask people if they believe that's ethical and kind of just go from there. Hopefully the sound is a little bit better here. It's definitely quieter here, but there is a little bit of wind. My mic does have a little windscreen on it, so hopefully it's a little bit better now. But let me know if you guys have problems. And I've been having issues with streams freezing lately. So if it freezes, I would really appreciate if somebody could write in the chat that it's frozen. That way, I'll know that I should either abandon the cause or like restart the stream. So maybe let me try actually flipping the side that the camera is on here. Try to get a nice little background for you guys here. Some scenic downtown Chicago action. All right, and if you're just tuning in, my name is Haas. I'm an activist for animals, and if you're vegan, I would love to know how long you've been vegan for. If you want to drop that in the chat, or maybe tell me your favorite fruit. It would be cool to know. If you're not vegan, I'd love to know why. I'd love to know why, in this day and age, if you have other options, why you would choose to exploit animals. We're about 7 minutes into the stream. No one has stopped by. Elisa says maybe try to increase the volume a little too if you can. All right, I'm holding it a little bit closer now. Just crawled my hand up the side here. String New Line says apricot. I love apricots. I love ripe apricots. I just had some the other day. You know, I like splitting them and folding them. The inner fleshy part is like facing out on both sides. Because then I don't get like that furry thing along the edge of my mouth, like on the inside. I'm very particular about how I eat fruit. Like sometimes with grapes, I'll actually like peel them, or with bananas, I'll like split them into three, like because they like have thirds on the inside. Lisa says jackfruit. That's another quality choice. I do love jackfruit, but I think it has a high latex content, and I believe I have some kind of oral allergy to latex, so it makes my mouth just like annoyingly itchy. I do love the taste of it though. Cannot deny that. Buffering. Hopefully it's fine though still. Um, Jason says peach. I do love peaches too. Not just peaches, the fruit, but peaches the song. If you guys are familiar with that song, it's like peach, you're so cool, and with my star rule. I just played that on the guitar before leaving. It's the song from like Mario Brothers movie. If you haven't seen that movie, it's pretty good. Martin says bananas. Oh, I did the not proper 30 bananas a day thing, but I did about 12 per day. I'm getting a lot of really strange looks today, like extremely strange looks. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because I'm like right at the part where the street kind of curves. Maybe I'll try moving just a little bit. I think people are having to walk around me and getting a little bit annoyed. So I'll try moving out of the way a little bit and see. So I'm a little bit off the beaten path, so to speak. Oh shit. Uh-oh. Alicia says, did we lose the feed? I sure hope not. Standing by. Am I still coming in? Pause. Asking. Over. Am I still here? Alicia says, is it live for you guys? I have a black screen. Oh man, I see you, says Navia. Okay, it's okay, says Alicia. Okay, working for me, all good here. Okay, good deal. This is what I love about having some backup here too. I appreciate you guys. So last stream, I think I was out for like maybe, I don't remember. I've done so many one after the other. At about 10, 11 minutes, I start to get a little concerned that maybe no one will stop by, and I start to feel a little bit like, start to get in my head a little bit. So send me some good energy, you guys, and let's hope that someone stops by. I've got my hat on. Maybe I need to like move it up a little bit so people don't see the V as much. I don't know. Just a dude says, "Can I ask questions? You wouldn't be offended." Most likely not. Depends on the question, of course, but probably not. Especially if it's about veganism, animal rights. I probably wouldn't be offended. Quite a nice view. It's quite nice in person too, I have to say. It is just a gorgeous day. Navia sending good vibes. Thanks so much. See if we get someone willing to stop by. Just a dude. Question is: vegan diet too much fibers? Do you guys keep farting all day? I personally don't. Um, I have heard that some people maybe experience that when they're first like moving over to a plant-based diet. Um, yes, thank you, Alicia. Smash the like button, pop, 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 double tap on the screen, and I think your microbiome has a lot to do with like food cravings and gas and things like that. So I think a lot of that stuff just kind of eventually goes away when your microbiome gets kind of more sorted out. I'm still waiting for someone to stop. Hello, are you over 18? Okay, sorry, you have to be over 18 to participate. Are you over 18? All right, you can participate, but part of knowing what it is participating. All right. Navia says they smashed the like button. Thank you, Navia. I hope that I get my iPad thing figured out soon because I do hope to be able to show some footage soon on the street as well, because I think that it's one thing to talk about the footage, and then it's one thing to actually show it. So hopefully I'll get that figured out soon, and the microphone thing too. But for now, I think you just gotta. There's that quote like, "Use what you can, do what you can, or use what you have, do what you can, and start now." So in the spirit of that, I'm out here. Um, just a dude says, "How do you think poor countries people can live with vegan diet?" Very well. If you think about like poorest countries, they actually eat a predominantly plant-based diet because of how wasteful and inefficient it is to farm animals. Um, right? Like if you think about like the gourmet vegan products, like sure it's going to be more expensive if you get some like curated plant-based stuff, but if we're talking just like whole food plant-based, like potatoes, beans. Alicia says rice and beans. Yes, exactly. Yeah, most poor people can't afford to eat animals. It's a luxury. In places like in the Western world where it is cheap, it's by virtue of subsidies, bailouts, tax breaks, that kind of thing that people who are in the animal agribusiness are able to secure from governments for their companies. Looks like we got a little photo shoot going on behind us. Jason says potato. Yeah, potatoes are super cheap. Bananas are super cheap. String new lines says rice, beans, seeds, bread, potato. Exactly. Would you like to participate? It's part of the deal that you participate to learn what it's about. Do you mind being live on YouTube? Okay, great. Would you mind coming into the frame here?
Where do I go?
Just right here next to me. Yeah, so you can see we can see ourselves in the screen.
Okay, we're good.
All right, what's your name?
Jerry.
Jerry, I'm Haas.
Hi, Haas.
Nice to meet you. So I'm asking people just a thought experiment, basically. Like I'm not asking for anything monetarily or anything like that. Just for an open mind, basically.
Yeah.
So
Engaging people, yeah.
awesome. So I'm wondering about. I'm going to ask you a question about ethics.
Yeah.
So imagine that there's a person. This is kind of far out, but imagine there's a person who leaves fruit out in their house, apartment, whatever, like inside. Like let's say they cut a watermelon in half and they just leave it on the kitchen counter.
Okay.
They let it rot.
Okay.
And it rots and rots, and then it starts attracting fruit flies.
Okay.
And then the person intentionally leaves it there so that a whole bunch of fruit flies start breeding and just like
have for the landlord or something.
Have a whole colony.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, actually, they have a different intention. So their intention is just to have like big dark clouds of fruit flies flying around in their apartment because they like to do ninja stuff and like jump around and clap.
I guess we're leaving. Sorry, can't do any farther.
Okay. But what are your thoughts on that, by the way?
Oh, what about
the fruit fly thing? Would you think that would be?
That's the trouble with people. People always think about themselves, not about other people.
Yeah, we should respect all animals.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Animals and people.
Yeah, and we're animals too.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thanks. All right, well, Jerry had to go, so we weren't able to make it too long of a conversation, but hopefully we'll get another one going. That was a nice little warm-up. I'm going to drink some water while I'm standing around here. Thank you to everyone who's here watching along. Actually, Olawale, he didn't run. He's let me show you. He's right there. See, his ride did get here, so he's just he was a truthful one. He didn't run. But yeah, sometimes people do run indeed. But he actually genuinely did have to go. Otherwise, he would have missed his ride. Hi, would you like to participate?
I would. What's going on?
All right, great. So I'm live on YouTube. Are you okay to be live on YouTube? All right, great. Do you mind coming back just so we're both in the frame? All right, great. What's your name?
Colin.
Colin, cool. My name is Haas. I'm asking people basically a thought experiment question. So a little bit out there, but all I ask for is just honest and open engagement. So let's imagine that there's a person. You said Connor, right?
Colin.
Oh, Colin. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's imagine, Colin, that there's a person who in his apartment basically has cut a watermelon and just left it out in his kitchen, like half a watermelon, maybe ate the other half.
Yeah.
And basically he's just letting it rot intentionally. Mm-hmm. And there's like a bunch of fruit flies gathering on it, and this is actually exactly what this person wanted. So he's basically letting fruit flies just breed and gather on this watermelon, and he wants there to basically be like a black cloud of fruit flies flying around in the apartment because he really likes jumping around and trying to see how many of them he can clap, like dead in one clap. Would you see any ethical issue with that kind of behavior? I mean, it's weird, but any ethical issue?
I would say so. I'd say why is he killing the gnats? And why is he wasting the watermelon?
Yeah.
What's the purpose of that?
Yeah. So he just gets a lot of enjoyment, just a lot of pleasure from clapping.
Yeah, I would say that's other things in his life may not be perfectly normal if he's doing that, right? Just thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
If we're talking about gnats and watermelon.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I guess what I'm wondering is do you have any ethical objection to it? Like, we can judge it, of course, and things like that. But like, do you think on unethical grounds would it be immoral to do?
Immoral? We're talking about gnats and watermelon. I think, is it immoral to waste a watermelon?
He's not wasting it because he's getting a lot of pleasure from what he gets.
I'm gonna call it. I think we're on the cusp of immoral to derive pleasure on killing gnats. Yeah. I'm calling it immoral. Yeah, that's something I can't relate to.
What would you say if the person, after clapping the gnats, like if he eats the gnats? So he's basically like farming them for protein, basically, but just getting a side benefit of the enjoyment of the ninja shit.
He's killing them for pleasure and now eating them.
Yeah.
He's like he gets enjoyment out of the pleasure of killing a gnat.
Yeah, and then but he eats them afterwards.
Strange. In his home?
Yeah. He's basically like he's like supplementing. It's free for him, so just has to invest in a watermelon, 59 cents a pound, something like that. And then he's basically farming fruit flies for protein. And they're dying instantly, right? So they're dying in much less cruel of a way, I would say, than like pigs, who the standard process is to kill them in gas chambers, or cows who get hung upside down by their feet, or have somebody put a knee to their neck and slice their throat, that kind of thing. I mean, this is instantaneous death.
Yeah, I think that's. I guess technically it's more humane. Technically, I mean, I don't really. I will say, if he's getting it for sustenance, then that's something. That's like, I guess he's getting something out of it. I do think that's like, we're talking about gnats. It's strange, right? Because like the what he'd get out of like consuming a gnat would be so small. You're talking about pigs. That's a different thing, right?
Sure. We could also say though that the gnats' maybe nervous system or sensory experience is maybe so simplistic. Their degree of sentience might be so low that compared to like the complexity of suffering of which a pig is capable, there's probably a huge difference there as well. I mean, I do think that at some level sentience is an on-off switch, but
okay. Well, are you making an argument that a gnat and a pig are the same?
No.
Okay.
I'm actually
going the opposite way.
I'm cautiously going the opposite way.
Yeah, because I mean, pigs are much more intelligent. Like, they're significantly. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Please tell me if you feel differently, or like I'm inaccurate. I'm like pretty certain that pigs are much more intelligent than gnats.
Yeah. Have you ever met a pig?
I've met a pig.
Yeah. They're pretty cool. I've met a few as well, like in sanctuaries. I've also actually stood outside of like factory farms where, I guess not a factory farm, but a slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Where pigs are like basically being brought in like 200 in a truck, awaiting their death. Which, like I said, they're gassed basically in a CO2 gas chamber.
Yeah.
Reacts with their mucous membranes, produces carbonic acid, burns them from the inside out, their eyes, throat, everything.
Sure.
How do you feel about, I guess, the farming of pigs, maybe to shift from gnats, since it seems like that's where we're...
Yeah, the farming of pigs, I mean, I guess if we're gassing them, I feel like the whole, like, I mean, not to drag, are we putting, like, hormones in them or anything like that? Or are we just saying, like, the way of killing them?
I mean, imagine the most idyllic scenario as far as I'm concerned. Like,
okay, like,
you
live a long life
them
on a
belly
farm.
rubs, you play Beethoven for pigs for them and all this stuff.
I'm here.
And then one day you decide, all right, pig, your value to me living is less than your value to me dead. Okay. So I'm gonna cut you ear to ear until you bleed out to death.
Okay. All right. Well, that's that. I'm gonna cut you ear to ear and then I'm bleed out.
I mean,
that's a little wicked. All right.
I mean, that's how they're killed, though, right?
Yeah.
In the most two main scenarios.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's wrong. Okay. Like, I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna I can't take that side to be like, I want an animal or anything to suffer a painful death. Like, that's just like that argument. Just like, how could I align myself?
Yeah. I mean, and this person, just to be clear, they're not causing suffering intentionally. They're not trying to brutalize this pig like in an egregious manner. Sure. They're just like, okay, what's the fastest way I can kill this pig and let their blood drain out so the meat that I want from them isn't soaked in blood? And the best way to do that, the most standard way to do that, is cut like aorta or carotid artery, and basically let the pig's heart beat the blood out until they don't have a sufficient blood supply to keep living.
Sure.
But you're not cool with that, basically, like.
No, I feel like if I guess we're not. I'm not about any sort of inhumane death or any sort of, like, I'd say I don't know the details on how to kill a pig. That's not I don't know that, but I would say like the cleanest, most possible clean death for a pig is like what I'm for. Or painless. I'm not about any sort of riffraff with causing animal pain.
Yeah, I understand that.
Or livestock or anything like that.
Sure. So I guess if the way that I described is the least painful method of killing a pig, and maybe even like less painful and less torturous than the methods that pigs are farmed using, would you say that you're not okay purchasing products that involve killing pigs?
Now you get into dicey territory. Where now that becomes some sort of socioeconomic issue. Because you make the argument that it's not particularly affordable to, and like it's almost in human nature to go for products or like meat, not meat, but like, well, in this case, pork, right? It is like pork loins are cheap and delicious, so I do eat those products. While I'm not connected, I don't work in any farm or I don't do anything like that. I don't think about it too much because it's a cheap way to eat good food. That's like my thought process, particularly pork loin, right? If you've ever had, you may have not had it.
I've never eaten a pig in my life. Yeah. So I guess cost-wise, so maybe if you haven't figured it out already, I'm vegan. So so I'm basically asking people their thoughts on different ethical scenarios involving animals, not for the purpose of trying to tell people how they should think, but more just getting people to think.
Yeah, sure.
And then my hope is that sometimes I might come across a person whose values are actually in line with veganism, but maybe their actions aren't. So then I can just help somebody to align those.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I get it. I see your point. I mean, your points are. Yeah, I get it. I get it completely. I guess for me as an individual, I guess the enjoyment in the cost-effective manner of eating pork or pig, for example, is it's pretty good value. So from that perspective, I can't go to any sort of process or synthetic meat like that. Those products are too expensive to, they aren't as delicious. In fact,
yeah, I mean, to me, it just kind of sounds like the taste appeal to taste sounds a little bit like the pleasure that I talked about with the guy doing the ninja stuff. Because
I was wondering where this is going. In the beginning, I wasn't sure what the
it's basically for pleasure.
Fair enough.
And if you think about it, it's so what you described is gustatory pleasure. What I described is kind of palpatory pleasure, the act of clapping and killing. Somebody else could get a lot of auditory pleasure, if they like the sound of pigs being killed. So they sit outside of a slaughterhouse and just listen to the death howls outside of the gas chambers, which I've heard.
Who's doing that?
Well, I'm just saying, right? Taste pleasure, we can't say that it's morally any more justifiable than any other form of pleasure, right? If it's for an unnecessary.
I feel like I might not grasp your argument here, but I want to say I can't. I don't think I disagree. I don't think I can agree with that. That's too much. You're drawing a comparison between someone standing outside of a slaughterhouse, right, and trying to getting pleasure out of the sound of death, versus someone going to the grocery store and consuming buying pork and consuming it. I feel like those morally gotta be I'm not responsible as me going to the grocery store and buying pork is not morally the same, or I guess in this case immoral, as someone driving pleasure from a death banana. That's we can't draw those as one to one, right? I mean, I don't think I'm being unreasonable by saying that. Right?
I think the only reason that maybe it seems not equivocal to you or equatable to you is maybe because you would think that the person who gets pleasure from hearing the death screams of the pigs probably also eats them. So it maybe just compounds the immorality of that individual. I would say that the sound, right, is just basically sound waves. They go into our ears. A piece of flesh which we don't need for sustenance or nutrition in any way. If we're in a situation where we live in kind of
I'm here. I got you.
Yeah. And that goes in a different orifice, right? Goes in our mouth instead of our ears. And if our sole reason for that consumption is taste pleasure, right? It's just basically I like how this sound tickles my eardrum versus I like how this taste tickles my taste buds.
I can't agree. I don't know. I just feel like you're apples and oranges on this one. I will admit, I don't think I can agree with that. That just sounds like I think to get caught up in the argumentative part of it is like I think it's not accurate to call these immortalities like the same. To be like someone to be like I'm outside the slaughterhouse listening to the pigs die and then I'm eating pork, right? Like I mean, like I think if you ask anyone, like normal, I would say, be like, oh, let's go sit outside the slaughterhouse and hear pigs die. I'd be like, question their
It's messed up. It's messed up. But that's precisely why I bring it up, because it strikes you. It has a little bit of shock value where you're like, wow, that's really messed up. But when I sit and reflect on this, is the pleasure that I get from eating these animals really that different from auditory pleasure or some other type of pleasure? And if you think about it, I mean, it's not, in the breeding of these animals, it's not just the killing that's problematic. Do you know how like pigs reproduce, for example?
Like human beings. I mean, like they
It's basically akin to sexual assault. Like, humans have to collect. It's artificial insemination. So
okay, sure, I'm here.
we look at like how that would work. Would mean like a human would basically procure semen from a male pig. Not gonna. I mean, okay, so either they can do that by hand or all sorts of different ways. So that's bestiality if somebody did that to like a dog, right, or a bird.
Yeah. I'm here. I'm sure. Like your main. I mean, okay, that.
And then of course it's inserted into the female.
Sure. Yes.
She doesn't consent.
Yeah. If we're drawing, if we replace the word pig with human right off the rip, we're like, what are we talking about?
Right.
We're not. We're going to jail.
Yeah. And there are exemptions in bestiality laws for animal husbandry, so that should tell you everything.
I guess. Okay, I see your points. Your points are fair.
And by the way, I'm not saying that humans are doing this to derive some sort of sexual gratification.
Oh yeah. I see that.
But to that victim, it doesn't make any difference.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
Like I guess the animal at the end.
The consequence is the same.
Yes, it's relevant if they're driving pleasure or not.
Exactly.
I would say.
And I'm not really asking you a question necessarily, so I don't want you to feel like you have to come up with something to say. It was more just like, do you know kind of like how this happens? Like think about dairy, for example, like that industry. I mean, the same thing happens to those cows, and they're forcibly impregnated year after year until they can no longer produce milk, and then they're basically cut up for cheap hamburger meat. So they, and if you think about eggs, for example, the males, they're not even they're worthless to that industry because they don't lay eggs. So on their first day of life, they're just swept into a wood chipper, like a macerator, basically a big grinder. Male chicks. So the breed of chicken that's raised for their eggs is different than the breed that's raised for their meat. So the male ones, they get sex basically. Like they go down a conveyor belt like in a grocery store, kind of like at the checkout lane.
Sure. And
then they're just swept into like two different sides. If the workers all look at their little private parts, and then if they're male, they get swept off, little yellow baby chicks, and they're ground up alive, or there's just maybe a garbage bag at the end, and they get shoveled in, and it's just tied, and they suffocate to death, or they're just dumped in a dumpster, and they just either get crushed or starved to death or something like that.
Well, I'll give you this. You move the needle forward with me as far as like animal abuse in farming. I will say that's totally true. Well, I guess like my like, what's your goal? Like, is your goal to educate, or like, I guess I want to like pose a different question. Maybe like, is there ever a way that you could consume an animal if it was ethically raised? Like, say a cow lived a full life, 16, 17 years, which is totally a thing. That totally does happen. And then those
25 years.
25 years, yeah, they live a long time, and that beef is same quality. If we get down to the nitty-gritty, that beef is the same quality as an animal that's raised maybe 5 years, hypothetically, right? Is there ever a way that you could consume that animal if it's ethically it dies on the thing at old age, and then now it's just like it's either going to go to waste or it's going to go in our plates.
Did you say dies of old age?
Yeah, like it dies like of natural causes.
Yeah. I mean, if an animal dies of natural causes, I wouldn't have an issue with you eating their carcass.
Sure.
Similarly to like if you came across a deer who had just gotten hit on the road, who had died, I wouldn't have like an ethical issue with you eating them. I think that if you did it like right then and there, I think it could disturb some friends and family of that animal. similarly on the farm. So
Yeah,
I think you would have to do it a little bit discreetly.
Yeah, sure.
But I wouldn't have like a moral qualm with it because you wouldn't be like exploiting that animal in any meaningful sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, I'm fair. Would you ever consume an animal?
I wouldn't personally, just because it's I've been vegan for almost 13 years. I've been eating animals in like 15 years, so it would just disgust me, like the smell and the taste. There's a certain death stench to it anymore for me. But I wouldn't have any moral issue with it. Like if somebody were doing that, I tend to focus like I have bigger tempeh strips to fry instead of fish. In terms of just the factory farming that's happening to animals.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
The fact that 2,000 chickens are killed every second in this country.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally like chickens are dragged by their feet across like a long blade, and then if they tuck their chins in and miss the blade, then they go into the boiling water alive, basically. So yeah,
I guess my question, my like argument maybe against it. I'm not gonna. I won't be able to chit chat for so long.
no worries. I appreciate your honest and open engagement.
Yeah, definitely. My argument against it is not argument against it. Just thought for you is what's the from like a socioeconomic perspective. How are we supposed to feed the country reasonably, right?
Yeah, I love talking about this.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you. So right now we have about 85% of all farmland, including like grazing pastures, the crops that are fed to those animals, and the land that we house those animals in. All of that combined is about 85% of farmland. And animal farming produces about 18% of calories in the food system.
Okay.
So basically, it's actually much more energy intensive. When you think about trophic levels, we're growing. A cow needs about 16 times the number of calories as a human does, and they're eating, corn, soy, and other things on arable land. So I would suggest that we can just use that land to feed humans instead. We could actually there are reports of people who are like climate scientists and agriculturists, things like that, where they've compiled all the data and seen how much land we could actually free up. And we could free up a ton of land. Like we could actually literally end world hunger as long as we had the transport mechanism. That's no small feat. I'm not trying to minimize that, but we could, in theory, produce enough.
If people got on board with not consuming as much meat or any meat at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's a speaker named Philip Wolin. He said something like, I don't know if this quote was originally his, but something like, every piece of morsel of meat that we eat is a slap in the face of a starving child.
I see your point. I get it. You're saying like it takes X amount of calorie energy to feed a cow and then kill it and then like for it to land on a plate.
Yeah. Versus
if we use that same land to grow something sustainably.
Yeah. Cows are actually the largest consumers of farm fish flesh too. So think about fish farming. Yeah, it's going to them. Literal chicken poop is fed to cows. There's all sorts of.
Do you think like my question, maybe another thought is this actually achievable for the United States of America?
Eventually, I don't think that I'm going to see it in my lifetime. What I really hope for is a moral shift. I hope that people start seeing other animals as ends in and of themselves rather than a means to an end, so that an animal doesn't have to look at us in fear, so they don't have to worry about how we're going to be violent to them or try to instrumentalize them for our own selfish purposes. So that would be my, to be on a soapbox for a minute there, that would kind of be my vision.
Fair enough. Yeah. I see it. Yeah, I think other places in the world maybe can achieve that. I think I agree with you on that front. Might be some time. Yeah, a lot of time. I will say it's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, and just one last thing about the economic perspective. I do want to also emphasize that the reason that you can get like a burger from McDonald's for maybe however cheap $2 you can get it is because of subsidies, bailouts, and tax breaks for these industries. So it's actually kind of ironic that the people who are most against welfareism, like in an individual sense, and talk about how people are like taking advantage of welfare, food stamps, that kind of thing, are actually a lot of times the people who are most benefiting off of the system that exploits animals and just gets bailed out, like if demand goes down. The government will buy up like excess milk, excess animal products, and then kind of like siphon it out through like school lunch programs. And there's a huge lobby for like the nutrition pyramid. these animal ag like bigwigs have a tremendous financial sway in our system of government. And of course, I don't profit off doing this at all. I'm just trying to kind of like get people to consider the victims, behind the choices.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Colin. I really appreciate your engaging with this. Could I recommend a documentary?
You can.
So it's called Dominion. If you go on YouTube and search for Dominion 2018, it's a compilation of standard practices in the animal agribusiness. So it was filmed in Australia, but it's basically like hour and a half, I guess, of just what the standard practices are. So I'd encourage you just to watch that and then decide if you're really comfortable supporting that.
Will do. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. All right, I think we actually technologically made it through without a freeze or anything. So I think that actually worked. Let me make sure that audio is crackly. Okay, well, at least I guess the video didn't freeze. That's a good sign. I think I might just need to hold the mic a little bit further away. So I'm gonna grab some water. See if I can squeeze in a quick another conversation. If you're just joining, my name is Haz. I'm a vegan. I'm holding the sign. It says, "Come participate in a social experiment." I'm gonna probably go for like maybe 10, 12 more minutes. I don't have too much time, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to see if I can get one more conversation, maybe a shorter one. So thank you to everyone who's here. I see Hiking Hippo in the chat. Hiking Hippo says, "What did you say, by the way?" The audio cut out when you said it. I'm not sure what you didn't hear, but I had just said that I'd probably go for like 10, 12 more minutes, and then go ahead and call it a day.
Curious.
Curiosity is what gets people into the door here. Are you over 18, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Do you mind being live on YouTube?
Sure.
Okay, great. Do you mind coming in the frame here? All right. What's your name?
Mansoor.
Mansoor?
Yeah.
Cool. My name is Haz. It's almost like monsieur, like in French. Yeah. Cool. Does it mean sir?
No, it means, I don't even know what it means.
Okay. No worries. Okay, so I'm basically I've been going through a whole little spiel in the thought experiment, but I'm actually about to wrap up a little bit, so maybe I'll just cut to the chase. I'm an animal rights activist. I'm wondering what rights you think animals deserve.
Well, I'm Muslim, so we believe animals should be held up to the most high standard. Like, I mean, we still eat animals, obviously.
Not all Muslims, though, right?
No, all Muslims, we eat animals, just no pork at all.
But some Muslims, there are vegan Muslims. I know some.
You can be a vegan Muslim, but being Muslim doesn't mean you're vegan. Majority of Muslims eat halal meat, meaning that the animal has to be treated with the utmost respect throughout its entire life.
What do you think about robbing that spark of life from an animal, though, if you can be vegan? Well, I'm not talking about somebody maybe in the middle of the desert who has 2 goats and a chicken, but like if you have access to grocery stores, do you think that like a kind, compassionate, benevolent, loving God would want you to make excuses to hurt animals, or maybe excuses to avoid hurting?
You got to also think though, majority of Muslims are not even in the Middle East. The Middle East has the lowest population of Muslims. Majority of Muslims are in Asia.
Sure, I don't think I made the claim that they were.
No, I know, but you brought in the analogy about a guy in the Middle East having 2
No, I said in the middle of a desert.
Oh, yeah.
Or you could be in Antarctica. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying, like, if you were somewhere where you had to eat animals to survive, I wouldn't go up to that person and say that they should let themselves die from starvation. But I'm saying, if you have an abundance of plant-based options, would you have any reason to hurt another animal, maybe, end their life if you had options to not do so? If you still be happy and healthy?
Well, I mean, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I think
also
it's
like when you put it like that, then you get every animal obviously has its own thing going on. They're like
a story.
Yeah. I mean, but essentially it's the circle of life at the same time too. I mean, animals. If you're gonna put animals on that pedestal, then I mean, can an animal go to court? Can an animal like if we were to leave an animal out here by itself, what would it do? It doesn't have the same level of intelligence as us humans. Not meaning that humans should go and slaughter animals.
Yeah, I guess I'm wondering why. So you put out a few things there. circle of life, which is kind of like appeal to nature fallacy, and then appeal to intelligence, and then before that, I don't remember the other one, but I'll start with the intelligence one. So I think that intelligence is irrelevant because what matters is sentience, like their capacity to suffer. Like we think about if there was a population of like mentally challenged humans, we wouldn't. I personally
would not eat them.
be in favor of farming them or exploiting them.
Yes.
Yeah. And if we think about like just like nature, a lot of things happen in nature. Animals grape each other in nature, but we wouldn't be in favor of that, in a human context.
Yeah. Well, more so, it's just like, I guess you don't really. Animal has just been the main food source for humans for the longest time. Now, if you bring in the point that there's vegan options and there's non-vegan options, why wouldn't you go with the vegan options to save the animals?
To prevent them from being
slaughtered,
from being brought into the world.
Which a lot of people, that's definitely a good point. I don't really see anybody saying anything against that point. But I don't know.
And I would ask you this.
A lot of people don't think about it that way.
Sure, yeah. And my whole point here is just to get people thinking. I can't tell anybody what to think. I can only get someone to think. But I would ask you, if something, it's been happening for a long time, it's something that maybe at one point we could have called it a necessary evil. But I would say that if it ceases to be necessary anymore, then all we're left with is evil.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I can't disagree with that. I mean, we obviously still, I'm still obviously going to eat whatever after this.
So how many more animals would you want to be tortured and killed for you?
Well, that's the thing, though. The animals that I eat, they're not tortured. They're just killed in a humane way. That's what halal food is.
And if you were one of these animals, how would you want someone to kill you?
Quick and easy. Quick and easy, painless.
Yeah, but I guess the thing is that it's a little bit of a false dichotomy because there's also a third option, right, of just letting them live, right? Like, we don't have to do any of this. We don't have to be violent. And I'd also, tell you with the religion aspect and the appeal to, like, the higher power kind of thing and that aspect, if you think about it, like, people always use religion as an excuse to do harmful things, right? Instead of using religion as an excuse to,
for example,
like eating animals, for example. They say God said it's okay. Christians will say Jesus ate fish, which may even have been based on a mistranslation. Because it was maybe just loaves, was the actual translation, like loaves of bread. So I would ask you maybe like try to use the religion as an excuse to actually preserve that sacred spark of life rather than extinguish it.
Well, you shouldn't have to agree to disagree. You definitely have some valid points. I'm not going to disagree with where you're saying that, whereas there's obviously other ways to go about eating your food. Animals definitely do not have to die, especially the age that we're living in.
Yeah. And so it makes it all unnecessary, right? And I think that's where the cruelty comes in.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, like even ending their life in a painless manner still involves taking the only thing that they have, right? They don't have pockets, they can't have money, they can't wear jewelry, like maybe they can't, but they have nothing else other than their lives. And when we take that from them, we're robbing the one thing that they have.
So what if, let me ask you this, so what about when other animals kill other animals? What do you think? Like
they
in
do
the
it
wild.
That's the same scenario of the person in Antarctica or in the desert, for example, out of necessity. But it looks like you got to go. But I appreciate your stopping, Mansoor. And I encourage you to check out the website. It's called veganmuslims.com.
I will.
All right, great. Thank you. Veganmuslims.com. Yeah.
What's that about?
Vegan Muslims.
Yeah. Animal cruelty. Don't kill animals. What you're saying? Because we have other options to kill about our food sources. We're made that way, aren't we?
Are you saying like because we can, we should?
Yeah, that's what the whole thing is all
Do
about.
you mind being live on my YouTube stream there?
Sure.
Okay. What's your name?
Ali.
Ali, cool. So my name is Haz. So you're saying basically we should eat animals because we're biologically omnivorous?
Yes, that's correct. That's what I believe in, and that's within the religion, I guess. It's just only for things that are allowed for us to eat.
Allowed is something, it's like something we can do. It doesn't necessarily prescribe what we should do.
Technically, yes, you're right. We shouldn't, but again, if it's allowed, then why not?
Well, I mean, that was maybe written in a time when we didn't have like scientific knowledge about nutrition and what we could eat to still sustain ourselves.
At the time of we had that knowledge at that time too.
Well, I don't think we knew like B12, for example. I think wasn't even discovered until like 1930s, like
We
1938.
knew where the nutrients came from. Everybody knew it, right? So for example, if people were a part of a war or a battle, and how would they recover? Or, for example, where did they get that nutrition from?
Yeah, I mean,
They were aware of that. It's just that we gave them the names later.
yeah, and I think there's actually evidence that, like the gladiators, for example, like in ancient Rome, actually were mostly plant-based in their
Right.
nutrition. Analysis of their bones had actually shown that they had a high level of strontium, which is more strongly associated with plant-based nutrition. But I just posit that, you know, in this day and age, would a kind, merciful, loving, benevolent God wish for you to basically take a knife to his children? Like, why would he put a creation here, a child of his, for you to sacrifice? Like, why would you need to do that to praise him? I think he would be more satisfied if you actually try to preserve that sacred spark of life. You know, he put that life in those animals, right?
Correct.
He gave them some spirit, some spark of life. For you to extinguish that is basically undoing his acts, right?
But that's exactly what the purpose is of cattle, isn't it? What other purpose could that cattle serve?
Well, what other purpose would we serve? I mean, the purpose of theirs, is whatever purpose they have, right? Again, I think we're playing God if we try to put a purpose upon them. Like if we use them as an end, as a means to an end, we're basically trying to make excuses to satisfy our personal desires. I think if we rid ourselves of that ego, we realize that, hey, you know, I don't know what their purpose is in this crazy wild world. I'll try to figure my own out and just live alongside them as though they're here with us instead of here for us. So I'd encourage you to think about that and do check out that website. I know you got family around and stuff, so I don't want to keep you too long. But Ali, thanks for stopping by, and do check out that site, Vegan Muslims. Because no religion requires killing animals. Thank you. All right, thank you guys all for being here. Oh man, frozen, says Jason. I wonder. Maybe it's Jason's internet. I'm not sure. I wonder if I am frozen. If anyone can let me know, that'd be awesome. Am I frozen? Can you see me moving? I think we're still good. I see some hearts in the chat, unless I'm just stuck in a loop. Martin says didn't freeze. Thank you, Martin. All right, but in any case, I've got a split. So thank you to everybody for being here. I really appreciate your guys' time. And I'm going to go ahead and call it a day here. And hiking hippo, that is brilliant. Bigger fish to free. Oh, I love that. Because, yeah, the tempeh strips thing is just awkward and it doesn't rhyme. Yeah, bigger fish to free. Okay, I love that. Thank you, hiking hippo. I'm definitely going to try to remember that. All right, well, thanks, everybody. Been almost an hour now. I think hopefully we got some other subscribers. We're clear from that 666 stuff that we were stuck at on the subscriber count earlier today. Thank you guys so much for being here. And please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button and take care. Have a good one. And lots of vegan love to you guys. And over and out. Have a good one. Bye for now.